Alright, I promised you guys this video, so we're going to be doing a who should you summon for on the 5 real anniversary units. Miguel, go cry in your corner, okay? We'll pick you up after school's done. Now, it's going to be a little less videos. I'm a bit traumatized by that 2B Hero X episode. Please watch it, by the way, please watch it. It's on Crunchyroll. Now, we're going to go over if you should summon for Itadori, Domain Gojo, Yuta, where's that boy? Blue Geto, and Sukuna. Alright. And this is going to be pretty nuanced because there's a lot of things that go into it. Now, I might be like, oh, but X unit isn't valuable right now. And for all we know on 1.5 ANNI, either they're made more valuable by tower floors that are made to kind of make them better, or they're completely devalued by the fact that a new DPS of the same color exists. For example, if we do get a yellow DPS for 1.5 anniversary, I would say in hindsight, Zoneji would not be worth summoning on. But here's the catch. Zoneji ends on the 26th of May. The half anniversary starts on JP on the 23rd, which means if you really want to know, you will know if you should summon on these units or not by the 23rd of May. So if you're really on the fence, I would highly recommend waiting just to see. This is a very similar predicament that you see in BBS, where you don't know if you should summon, but then you wait till either half month or end of month, and then you're able to see if you summon for the banners. And I think this is what you should be doing, specifically for someone like Zoneji. So let's get into it. We're going to break down their kits rather quickly, because at this point you guys are accustomed, and then I'm going to give you guys my full opinions on if you should summon or not. Now, Zoneji, how he works, he ults. He does pretty good damage, goes into zone state, guaranteed black flash, and on his passive, zone state makes him increase his damage. Every time he black flashes, he gets more damage. And then he gets in zone state. Zone state makes him perform 2 actions per turn. So essentially, you're going to be spamming the skill 3, doing it twice, which is essentially going to be a 1360% ult, quote unquote, soft ult every single turn. And you're going to use a rec bit to actually increase this damage. And then you're going to be doing insane damage with this. You're also going to be able to get your ult way quicker the second time around, even quicker than the rec bit can handle. So it's going to be a very nice snowball effect, especially with the skill 2 able to increase ult gauge. Very, very nice, right? So yeah, that's basically how Zoneji works. It's his skills that do a lot of damage in zone state. And his ult is good, but you also have to consider, even just with this, if you use a rec bit on the skills, you're essentially getting more damage out of it due to this extra 30%. So keep that in mind, right? Keep that in mind. Now, is Zoneji worth summoning on? In my opinion, if you do not have Tinjo, and by the way, I just want to say, I'm going to be making a more in-depth video for every single one of these, but if you do not have Tinjo, then yes, right? I would say you need 1 top tier yellow DPS, especially if you're trying to clear the yellow content. Zoneji could do most of it, right? The thing is, I would say if you have Tinjo, there is no need to summon on Zoneji at all, in my humble opinion. I do not think it is worth it. And the main reason is, well, obviously this video is catered towards free-to-plays, right? So for free-to-plays, you only have a certain amount of things you could summon on. And then 3 months from now on Global, guess what's happening? 1.5 anniversary, what could come out? Choso, Reincarnated Toji, a dual Megumi Yuji, right? This is the type of shit we're talking about. And ain't no one need a Zone Yuji if that's the case, when they're going to be the power creep. Now, what I say to that is, oh, you're going to summon in the future? That is just perpetuating a full cycle of summoning only in the future. The problem with that is Zoneji, especially, did not have some amount of power creep in him for the content, because the content itself did not have power creep. While he is the best DPS on release, there is no power creep to contend with him, where for the 1.5 anniversary, those units have the power creep of floor 61 to 80, when 51 to 60 have no power creep in sight. So yes, I would say summon for when the power creep is actually prevalent instead of Zoneji, and that is my personal opinion. Now, if you do want as a low spender and you have the cubes, you've been getting daily cubes and you've been saving, right? Then yeah, I think going for Zoneji is actually a pretty good opinion. Maybe doing a couple pulls. If you want to test your luck, then go ahead. I think he's a rather easy unit to build, but from what I see, he does need dupe 1 to really perform well. So that's my opinions on Zoneji. I do not think free-to-play should summon on Zoneji if they don't have Tinjo, but if they Sorry, if they have Tinjo, no Zoneji. If they don't have Tinjo, then yes, Zoneji is how I see it. Now, next up, we're going to talk about the second unit, and the second unit should be releasing on the 9th. That's the wrong Gojo. Should be releasing on the 9th of May. Here we go. Should you summon on DEGojo? Yes, please, 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 please. He is the only must summon unit out of the 5 we're talking about, including Sukuna. Including Sukuna, yes. He is way more valuable than Sukuna. Okay, now I kind of said, okay, 61, or I think it was starting 65, oh, he's nerfed. Because his ult, instead of being a 300% damage increase, it's 100. But guess what? From 71 to 80, Gojo's ult is fine because it's a buff lower and not a debuff lower. So DEGojo is going to have value there. And especially now that DPSs are not just Gojo. Guys, half Annie, there's no Gojo in sight, right? The 3 possible contenders that we are thinking is literally 3 units that are not Gojos, right? First Annie without Gojo is going to be huge for DEGojo's value to skyrocket because it means he's going to be good to support actual really good DPSs that are new that aren't Gojo, right? So that's the thing. So this guy, if he does his ult within 6 turns remaining, it is a restriction. He is going to get a 300% damage increase. And the best thing is that his stun goes through stun block because it blocks stun, but it does not block stun in brackets infinite void. This is essentially a special stun. So this stun works everywhere because right now the enemies do have stun blocks, so keep that in mind. And then infinite void, and make sure they can't increase ult gauge for 4 turns, and actually does good damage. If you need a red DPS and have none, high key DEGojo could carry you. I am not even kidding. For example, on floor 62, you could use 61 or 62. You could use DEGojo with Red Nobara and not need Yuta or Toji. Insane shit, right? So DEGojo is definitely a pickup. If he's your only DPS, you could even put a dupe in him and I would not be mad, right? So this guy is a yes, please pick him up, only must summon unit, all right? Next up, we've got, it should be Yuta. Right? So Yuta's the next unit. Now, should you summon? Honestly, I would say no. If you do not already have him, I do not believe you should for a couple of reasons. From how the meta is looking, it does seem like there's a red DPS coming out for the 1.5 anniversary on JP, which essentially is in 3 months from now on global. Now, what you should do is, like I said, if you do not have Yuta and you want to summon for him, but you're also on the edge, wait for the 1.5 anniversary stream, see if we get a red DPS like Choso or Megumi. Those are my top 2 contenders for a red DPS because floor 80 could only have Jujutsu DPS. And who's Jujutsu that we have access to us right now for Shibuya? It would be mainly Choso and Megumi. So that's probably going to be our 1.5 Annie red DPS. And why am I saying that? Because blue just is getting Ino. Green is going to probably get Toji because we need a Taijutsu unit because many of the floors are Jujutsu block and you need to run Taijutsu for the new green floors. And yellow is another possibility, but I'm seeing it more for second Annie Jogo. So that's my thoughts. I feel like it's going to be a red Jujutsu DPS. So Yuta is probably going to lose a bit of his value. Now, he is still very good. So I would say he is more of a low to high spender unit instead of a free to play unit because while he is good, I would personally rather you guys summon for the 1.5 Annie unit / the global 9-month unit is how I see it. But this guy's very good. He has his heal. His ult is 2000%. His skill 3 does a lot of damage. But at the same time, I just do not think personally it is worth it to summon for Yuta if he does come out, right? And at the same time, his release is probably going to be on the 16th, which is a week before the actual reveal stream for the 1.5 anniversary units, or even close, because I think Half Annie starts on the 23rd, which means the reveal is either going to be between the 16th to the 20th. So listen, literally hold out a couple days for him and you're fine. Now, Blue Geto, should you summon on him? In this case, I think it is a maybe yes. All right. This guy is absolutely too good. And I genuinely think not summoning for him can maybe hurt your account. But once again, I would like to play these games of wait for the actual reveal stream. But by the time Geto is out, it's going to be the 23rd. Half anniversary would have started. So literally wait like for a couple of my videos and you'll actually see if it's worth it. And I'll make an updated video for Geto for sure. Now, why he's so good is because he has a skill that Taijutsu lowers while Jujutsu increasing, and this is an insane combo, 150% Jujutsu damage increase with a up to 105 taijutsu damage lower, and then his ult is actually able to do decent sub DPS damage. Like, this guy is very good. So as of right now, I would say it is a maybe yes, only if you have enough cubes. That's my main thing, only if you have enough cubes. So for right now, as a support, he is literally the only universal stat lower for Jujutsu, and it does seem like it's going to gain value due to the fact that we're probably going to have at least one Jujutsu damage dealer for the 1.5 anniversary, and then for second ANNI, it's looking to line up to be Sukuna and JOJO. So with that in mind, Geto's value has insane longevity, so I would say yes. Honestly, if you have the cubes, yes, I'm going to make a tier list on who you should summon on later. Now, he is a rough case, right? Now, if you have the cubes, I would say yes, right? If you have the cubes to get DEGojo, I would say yes. Now, the thing... Oh, someone... Please don't time step that. Now, the thing is, with our boy here, is something very, very important. Now, what is that? Well, what that important thing is that JOJO could clear most of the content that we've got. I'm not kidding. Someone cleared floor 70 with JOJO. Floor 70 is blue type advantage, right? So the thing is, at this point in time, if you're a new player, yes, summon for Sukuna, because you're going to need someone like him to carry you through tower with DEGojo. You are going to easily be able to finish tower and get a bunch of extra cubes. Now, if you're not a new player, I honestly might tell you to skip, but I cannot tell you that in my right mind. That's my problem. If you do not care for Sukuna, but want him because of his strong potential, JOJO's buffs will allow you to clear the content. Blue type advantage. Sukuna works off type advantage for floors 1 to 60, but 61 to 80, Sukuna has to be blue type advantage, so he loses the value, the extra value he had. So you could literally use a free-to-play JOJO. You might need to put a couple dupes in him, maybe get him dupe 3, dupe 4. But when it does come for JOJO's buffs and you do have him maxed, you will be thoroughly excited and happy that you got him because JOJO can clear the blue content. So that's what I want to say. JOJO is able to do what Sukuna can from the new floors. So I do not think he is a must summon, but if you do want him, then go for him. Alright, that's my personal thoughts on the 5 units. I think Sukuna is great for new players and players who need to go up tower. But besides that, I do not think it is a necessity, okay? That is my personal opinion. And now we're gonna kind of do something, right? So I'm preparing for a tier list video. So let me just get the actual units for this. And we're gonna rank these 5. All right, we're gonna rank the 5 units to what I personally believe, and then we'll be good. So here we go. These are the 5 units. Number 1, DEGojo. He is, in my opinion, a must summon. He works everywhere, gives you a big damage increase, actually stuns, and is a damage dealer. One of the best damage dealers somehow, and is literally like the number 1 unit, and might still remain the number 1 unit after the 1.5 anniversary. So he is a must summon. Now, in my personal opinion, I genuinely think number 2 is going to be Blue Geto. Now, Blue Geto is going to be contingent on the fact that there's not a new new like actual stat support. Like if they make Blue Geto, except they're giving for Jujutsu and Taijutsu, and they could actually support and still do damage, I think he is gonna kind of lose his value. But as of right now, still very fucking good, okay? So I would say he's number 2, but only number 2 until support revealed. Okay, until new support revealed. Okay, new debuffer revealed, we'll say, right? So it's gonna be whoa, yeah, there we go. Okay, now number 3 is gonna be Sukuna. Okay, I think Sukuna is great, but in terms of actual value, guys, he is number 3. You could also just pick up these 3, to be fair, right? The thing is with Sukuna is that you don't need him for the content. Where DEGojo, some floors he makes it so much easier, right? And the thing is, you might be like, oh, but Sukuna sweep. Oh, but JOJO sweeps also, right? JOJO sweeps also. So keep that in mind. Keep that in mind. That's another thing. JoJo fucking sweeps also, right? So there's literally nothing that Sukuna could do that JoJo can't between floors 61 to 80 and in sweep. Keep that in mind. Number 4 is Zoneji. Now, why I put Zoneji at number 4, I guess I put a typo, is due to the fact that Zoneji out here is very good. I mean, it's anniversary. All these 4 units are literally top tier in what they do, right? We have to understand that. The thing with Zoneji is that Tinjo is able to do most of what he does, and you don't need Zoneji, right? That's the thing. Zoneji is not a necessity. You could clear floor 55 without Zoneji, and then the only thing you could be like, oh, but you know, what about sweep, right? Sweep is the only thing, but then even yellow Nanami could do sweep. So that's something that I think you guys have to keep in mind, right? And then 5 is Yuta. Yuta, just, I don't think you should summon on him. I do not think he is worth it right now, especially if we're getting another Jujutsu DPS that's probably going to be like twice as good as Yuta. So we're going to have to see, but like overall, this is how I rank these summons, right? I would say Sukuna is the best DPS at the moment, but being the best DPS doesn't really matter when he's only able to clear blue floors, but even at that, JoJo could do what Sukuna can. But obviously, this is considering the fact that you get JoJo dupes. So if you are like, oh, maybe I shouldn't summon for Sukuna, make sure you're going into the exchange shop and you're actually building JoJo dupes, right? Because getting him dupes, I would say at least 3 to 4 is probably necessary. So I would definitely go for dupes on JoJo, and that's probably how I'd go about it. So that's essentially it for the video. Let me know if this helped you kind of decide. These are my personal thoughts. Let me know what you think, and thank you guys for watching. I'll see you in the next one. Thank you. Bye-bye.